finally, I'm actually getting to sit down and record the talking head part of the Belfast Half Marathon, which is the day after Causeway Ultra, which was the previous video. If you haven't checked that out, once you've watched this video, go and check that out, because both of these were on the exact same weekend. I know, crazy mate, but don't worry about it. Sit back, relax, welcome to the video. Today's video is all about the Belfast Half Marathon 2023, and then we're just going to wrap the whole weekend up as a one. Okay? Yes, good. Let's get into it. The morning of the Belfast Half Marathon, when I woke up, I genuinely thought my legs were going to be worse off than what they actually were. They weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. I mean, they were still sore, but they weren't like excruciating, oh my god, I can't walk. When I did the actual Belfast Marathon back in April, I woke up worse off then than I did doing the Causeway Ultra. Reasons being, haven't got a clue, don't know, and maybe it's because that since April to September, I've been able to improve on my running. I've got stronger. It could be a number of things, I don't know. But either way, I woke up after the 40 miler on the Sunday, not as bad as I actually thought I was going to be. So going into the Belfast Half Marathon, I felt relatively all right. The goal was to hopefully achieve a sub 2 hour half marathon pace, which by no means is still quite a good feat for most, if not quite a lot of people to achieve in their lifetime, is to run a sub 2 hour half marathon. My actual PB for a half marathon, which wasn't a sanctioned half marathon, it was just a half marathon off my own back, was 1 hour 40, was 1 hour 44. So going off that, I was like, surely I'll be able to get sub 2 hours, if not sub 2 hours 15 maybe. So the aim here was to get at the start line and put myself somewhere in between the 2 hours and the 2 hour 30 markers. So I want smack bang in the middle with the 2 hours 15, and I was like, surely if I can keep them in my radar or keep them in my sight, everything should be grand. So that's exactly where I set up, that's exactly where I placed myself. In terms of setting off in the Belfast Half Marathon, it took quite a long time for us to be released and set off on the route. For reasons being, I don't know, I think it was something to do with there was people in front of the start line who were meant to be behind or in the race, and we couldn't get them and moved off the road. Basically, I think there was too many people. I think there was like 6,000 people running the Belfast Half Marathon, so there was just too many people, and it seemed to be, the start line wasn't organised correctly. So hopefully next year they can fix that problem, but only a minor problem, not really a big dilemma. Setting off on the Belfast Half Marathon, what would I say? I'd say that the energy around the place is fantastic, mate. Belfast always knows how to keep the energy levels high when there's like certain events going on, whether that's like running events, boxing events. Belfast has always been renowned for its high energy, good vibes around any sort of event. So if you've never run or you've never done anything in Belfast, I would suggest that you try and at least get down to one of these events or participate in an event and just feel the energy around the place. Belfast is it gets a bad rep, but it's not that bad. There's worse places out there than Belfast. Keep her lit! The Newton Arch Road. See when I run under the Newton Arch Road, there was this almighty smell of fresh baked goods, mate. And I was like, oh fucking Jesus, why? I can't remember if I shouted something. I said like, "Does everyone smell that?" And someone was like, "Oh mate." What I had done to stop there and get myself like a fresh baked good. Don't know what shop it was coming from. Haven't got a clue. Do not know. The sights you'll see, the sights you see on this, I actually managed to be able to take most of the actual surroundings in this time doing the marathon. When I'm doing the actual full marathon itself in April, Belfast full marathon, I never really appreciated the surrounding area. So when I was doing this one, the half marathon, I was like, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to actually take in what Belfast has to offer and maybe see things from a different point of view, or like, oh, I've never seen it from that way before. So I made sure that I was checking my surroundings, seeing how actual nice the place is, mate. Do you know what I mean? We have some great places to come and see in Belfast. Running up the Ormer Road on your way to the finishing line is a good part of the actual race itself. Point number one being is you know you're coming to the end, and number two is the energy levels from the energy levels from the audience is second to none. It's like a wee pick me up. It's like a bit of energy you never knew you had, and you're like, oh yes, I'm nearly at the finish line, and you start picking the pace up a wee bit more, and you're running up. And fair play to people who stayed out in the rain, because see, by the time I got finished, I was fucking soaked to the skin, mate. So I can't imagine what it was like just standing in it all day. Well, when we were running in to the actual Ormo Park, some fella to my left actually nearly collapsed, mate. I was going to like stop and do like help him, but and then someone else grabbed him before me. I was like, all right, I'll just run on. But it all happened like really fast, so hopefully that guy's alright. Shout out that guy who nearly collapsed in the start of Ormer Road. If you're watching this, I hope you're alright, mate. I hope we managed to finish it.
300 metres.
Running down to the finishing line, see if I do it next year and one person tells me or says, oh, you have only 300 metres to go, and then you get the next person and you're like, oh, only 500 metres to go, and you're like, many fucking metres is left, mate. Do you know what I mean? You're telling me there's 500, 300, 400 metres left. What the fuck is there? What, like, if you don't know the distance to the finishing line, just don't fucking say anything. You're demotivating people, and you're starting to fucking do my head in. So if you're there at the finishing line next year, stop shouting how far it is unless you actually know how far it is, mate. Alright? I had a wee glance up and watch at this point, and I was like, I'm making sub 2 hours here. I'm making sub 2 hour marathon. I think it was like 1 hour 54, 1 hour 53 minutes on my clock, and I was like, oh yes, it's on. And then just as I was saying the finish line, you see the big clock, that's the gun time on the clock, and you're like, oh, it's 1 hour 58. What a fucking, yeah, across the finishing line, I was like, fucking yes! 20 minutes! In the bag, mate, sub 2 hour marathon the day after a 40 miler. No big deal, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Make some noise, show your support, give them all the encouragement they deserve. After 13 miles, Belfast wins.
I was extremely happy and proud of myself at that very moment in time. So it was for quite a number of reasons. Number one, obviously, is doing such a strenuous activity over the weekend, the ultra and the half, back to back. People says, "Oh, are you serious? Like, you're going to really be able to do that?" I was like, "Yeah, I am, yeah." And also the money that I've raised for Cash for Kids. The goal was £1,500. So far to date, I've managed to raise £340 by myself, mate, just by doing my own promotional shit, putting it out on social media, hoping people will donate to me, and I've managed to raise £340. The account for that is still open. It's actual Cash for Kids itself. I'll put the link for it in the description below if you want to go and check it out and donate whatever you can donate. But yeah, £340 for the weekend. Well, it took me 6 or 7 weeks to raise £340. So if you'd like to donate something, click a link, first link in the description, and go and donate if you can. Thanks very much, mate. Yes! So to wrap this magnificent weekend up in these 2 videos, I'd say that in a whole it was actually quite an enjoyable weekend. Next year, I hope both of them are separate. I hope both events aren't running the same weekend. I don't know if they're holding the same weekend every single year, maybe that's just the way they fell, but next year I hope they're actually separate, because the Belfast Half Marathon, it's quite a flat course. It'd be quite a good course to be able to try and run a PB. So that would be the aim next year, if they were separate, is to try and get like a sub 1 hour 30 half marathon. Because the course is quite flat, if not, it's got quite a lot of, it's got a few downhill sections in it. And I think you could actually get quite a good time on that course if you were trained properly for it and give it a good go. So yeah, I would say that. I'd say if you're in 2 minds whether to run a half marathon, I would say if you're that scared about it, wait till next year and run the Belfast Half Marathon. It'd be quite a good tester and quite a good first half marathon to run. The day before, a fucking stupid idea. Well, that's in the previous video, so go check it out. We'll link it. Go check it out. Hope you enjoy it. I would like to just say thank you very much for taking your time and patience and watching the videos, and I hope you had a fucking fantastic time here watching it. And if you did, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and see you in the next one, because I've signed up for another race.